All right, so what I want to look at is a small issue that I had the other day and how I addressed it. And I wanted to see if you guys have any better way of doing it, so or if it could actually help you guys as well. So essentially, what happened was Nuxt content has a not found document page or so, or a slot for you to show if it's not there. But for a normal application, what we would typically have in our whole entire Nuxt project is an error page, a general error page that catches all of the errors. And for both having both a content not found or document not found error and a app level error may not be ideal. You may just want only one of them to be showing, and that's the case I had where the content not found page did not look the same as our app level 404 error page, and that's not what we wanted. So we wanted to address that. So this video is just going to show you how we went about doing it, and just different pitfalls that you may run into if you were doing this on your own or whatever, just to help. So let's get started. First things first, what we want to do is to go ahead and create a project. So I'm going to cd into projects to Nuxt, and we're going to go ahead and create our project, which, because I'm lazy, I'm going to go over to nuxt.com. And I like the new layout, it looks pretty nice. And we're going to go for installation, and we're going to be using PNPM. If you have something else, then by all means use that, or if you have a different preference. I'm gonna go ahead and create it. I'm gonna call this Nuxt content app level 404, and we'll just go ahead and click on enter. This is just gonna create a new scaffolding of, well, a new Nuxt project. I am going to be using PNPM as I had mentioned before for the package manager, and then from there we'll just go ahead and install the different dependencies that we're going to be needing. All right, so in addition to that, we're gonna add a Git repository, because I may end up adding this to my GitHub profile so that you guys can have access to it if needed. All right, so there we go. There's some Git configuration issues, but not anything to worry about. So we're gonna go ahead and cd into this directory. If we ls all, you can see that we actually have the .git directory, so it's nothing to worry about. It's just an error with the naming convention as far as I can see. All right, so let's clear this out. The first thing that we need will be Nuxt content, actually, first of all. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. Most of these commands I already know them. I'm just really lazy and I prefer to just copy and paste it. So I wanna go ahead and add the Nuxt content. All right, so Nuxt content is added. One other thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to add the Nuxt UIkit module just for a little bit of styling. So it's not going to be like a huge amount, but just for the sake of this, we're going to go ahead and add it just anyways. I'm going to go ahead and add that. All right, so now that that's added, we're going to go ahead and actually just configure these. So we need to set our modules, and the first is the Nuxt content, and the second is going to be the Nuxt UIkit. Let's just scroll that off. So there we go. That configures everything, and what we're going to be doing is to actually create a catch-all route. So effectively, whenever we create anything inside of our content directory for Nuxt content, it's going to mirror essentially what should be inside of the pages directory under a catch-all route. So firstly, I'm going to go ahead and delete this because we don't need it. So that's the app.view file. And we're going to go ahead and create our content directory. Inside of here, I'm going to create about 3 different pages. So I'm going to create a how-to. So actually start with index. So index.md. So this will be our initial page. So we'll just add index or home page. And I'm going to add some links in here. So one of the first thing that I'm going to have is to a how-to page. So this will be effectively a legitimate page that is on in our content. So how to, and we want a 404 page as well. This will be to simulate getting the 404 error. So I'm gonna call it error 404, and this page won't exist actually. So that's just for simulating it. And I want to have also a 500 internal server error. So I'm gonna add that as well. And then we'll just go ahead and save those. And from here, we're just gonna go ahead and create the how-to page because we're gonna need that. So these are all markdown files. In here, I am pretty much just going to put the title, so how-to, and a link back to home, so or the index page. This first, I'll just put a slash there. So that will just take us back, and that should be it for here because the 500 error is going to be triggered from within the pages directory. So let's go ahead and actually create that now. So pages, and we're going to go ahead and create our error 500.view. And in here, we'll just set up a script, and it's going to be a setup script. Close that off. We'll just leave it empty for now, and just create our template now. I'm gonna put a div in here for now. And just put error 500. I'm gonna save that and just leave that as is. However, we also need to be able to do the catch all. So let's go ahead and create that catch all page. I'm gonna actually just call it slug, or that's actually the default name for, well, yeah, so we can just leave it as slug. I think we can we can name it anything as long as we have the same syntax here, but I'm gonna use slug for this one. And all we need in here right now is the template. That's pretty much it. And I'm gonna put a main, cover it with a main, and in here we'll just put content doc and just leave it as self-closing. I'll just save that, and that should cover everything that we'll be needing for now. So let's go ahead and look at what we have. So I'm gonna open a new tab, cd back into here, and we're gonna go ahead and run this. All right, so now that that's running, we can go ahead and open this at localhost 3000. Let's go ahead and do that. So now we can see our index page as we would have created our index.md. This is coming directly from Nuxt content because we don't have an index.view. This is simulating it. And then we have our different links that needs to be formatted a bit. So let me go ahead and do that. So all we need to do here is just to add spaces at the end. So when we save that, you can see that it now aligns. So this will take us to our how-to page. As you can see, all it has is this how-to message or header here and the link to take us back home. The 404 error is going to take us to this not found content here effectively. So it's telling us what to do in the content docs so that we can just add a slot to say, well, it's not found. So we're going to look at that off shortly. And this one is our 500 error, which all I had was error 500 within that page. But this here should actually trigger an error. So the first thing that we're going to address is actually here. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to go back into our pages directory. And we're going to go to here. And all we have to do is just to remove the closing here. And I did too much of that. And within here, we just add our template tag with our slot to say not found. And we'll just close this out. Right here, we could write something like document, as they have document not found. And if we save this now, you can see what we have here now is document not found, because that's what we have in the event that the document effectively is not found. So what we're going to do now is just to look at for the 500 error. So what I'm going to do is to actually simulate triggering a 500 error on this page, and that is just by throwing an error here. So we'll just go ahead and do throw create error, and this is built into Nuxt, so you can check that out within the documentation. Should actually pull that up, and I'm going to actually do that. So some of these you can find at Nuxt error handling right here. So if anything, I'll just leave this within the document, the description as well. So that's for context. So back to this. Triggering the error, we need to add a status code, and we're just gonna do a 500 error here. And we also need to add a status message, which is going to be internal server error. And that should cover everything that we need in order to trigger this error. So you can notice that we now see nothing on the page. If we go back, let's refresh this here. If we go back and we click on this, it doesn't do anything. It pushes us to the page, but we're not actually doing anything. However, if I do a hard refresh, you'll see that it triggers the internal server error as we wanted. Now, this is not necessarily the effect that we want, because we want whenever they hit the page, we don't have to do a hard refresh to do that. So in order to address this, and this is one of the pitfalls that I was mentioning, is that we have to add fatal on here. So we'll just add fatal true, and now this will trigger the error as soon as we hit this page here. So as soon as we hit it, reach here. And in the event that this is a 404 error, a normal 404 error, not necessarily the content one, it will look pretty much the same as this. All right, so in order to address some global error or make this look a little bit much prettier, because we don't necessarily want to have the Nuxt default page to be showing back to our users, so we want to have something that is custom. So in order to do that, what we need to do is to create a error file, a view file, which is called error.view, and we're going to open our script, and we have a global variable, or a component, a composable I should say, that's called use error. So we have this error here, and we can go ahead and use it. So I'm gonna go ahead and push this now down into the template. So for now, all I'm going to do is to create a div and just print out this error here, whatever it is. So we save that. If I should refresh this now, you can now see that we have all of the information regarding this error, including the status code, the message, and the stack and all of that. So this, we want it to look a little bit better because that's not clean. So let's just go ahead and add some of that UIkit style from the module. So let's go ahead and put a container. I'm gonna put a container in here, and I want to have this position center as well. I'm gonna add another div in here with a class of UK text center. So this will just center everything that we have because we want that to be the case. And I'm just gonna duplicate that div. Also want to just add an H1, so we're gonna just display status code and the message. So let's go ahead and UK heading, and in here we can just go ahead and grab the element, well, the property. So we want the status code, so we just say status code, and we just close this H1 off. And right here we can just put a paragraph, I guess that should be fine, and we just put the error dot status message, and we'll just go ahead and close this off. So we can go ahead and save that. And now if we go over here, we got something that's looking much better. So this is more visually appealing to our users whenever they hit an error. We can just show them this. So if we go over here now and click on here, we will see this. Now again, if we're not using a catch-all route and this was a 404 error, so if the page was not found, then this will just say 404, and then it'll show the message, the 404 page not found message here. Now with the Nuxt content, it looks a little bit different. Obviously, all it says is a document not found. Obviously, we could pretty much just go ahead and copy whatever is in here and bring it across to the area where we put the not found slot, and then we just have this, but that will just be duplicating our logic, and we don't necessarily want to do that. Obviously, we know the acronym DRY, so we don't want to repeat ourselves, or don't necessarily want to repeat ourselves. I guess in some cases unless necessary. So what we want to do is have something that looks similar or closer to this here, or even exactly like this here. So the way in which we're going to do that is to actually try and trigger the error within that slot. So that's the way that I address it. I'm not sure if there's any better way to deal with it. If there's none, you can leave a comment and let me know. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how we went about doing it. So first thing that we want to do now is just to get back into here. And again, this is only if you're using a catch-all route. So within here, the obvious thing that one would be thinking, and this is what I was thinking as well when I went about doing this, is I'm gonna go ahead and just copy and paste something because a little bit lazy. So we could just, idea was that we could just go ahead and paste this right in here and just put this within our mustache syntax. And if we save this, it doesn't work because it's saying that what's up with this throw here, this doesn't work. So we could actually just go ahead and try to just remove it and see if that would actually work as well. And no, it still doesn't. It's giving us an unexpected token error here. So the way in which I went about addressing this is to pretty much just move this back up. We just move this within our script tag. So I'm gonna open our script setup, obviously, and we'll go ahead and create an error. So our function actually that we can call within our tag. So we can just call it not found error. You can call it, you can name it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And I'm just gonna use an arrow function here. And now I can paste this in. I can remove the mustache syntax from here, and we can then add our throw here. I can save that, but we need to also go ahead and call the function in here or put it within our mustache syntax. So when we come here now, all we have to do is just say not found. So whenever the page is loaded and we don't see anything, it will just call this function here. So when we save that, it's going to be a 500 now. So we actually need to change this to a 404 error, and we just change this to say page not found. We just save that, and now you can see when we go here, it is now a 404 page error, and this is actually a content error, and it's actually at the app level. So this works. This now gives us a beautiful 404 page. So this is now global, and all of the other pages will get that just the same, and every other error will fall in line here. Now there's one thing that I want to add also, and that is how we handle these errors, because we don't necessarily just want to be creating errors, so we also want to clear these out. So over to my right, I'm going to go back into the error page here, and I'm just going to create a button in here with a class of UK button default, and what this is going to do is it's going to have a add click handler, and we're going to just call a function called clear error. So this is again one of the built-in Nuxt functions or methods. So I'm just gonna add a redirect for how we'll be dealing with the error. So it's just gonna take us to our home page. That's pretty much all that we'll be doing in here. So that's going to be handling that for us. So we'll just close this out, and we'll just say home, because we're just gonna send them home, but effectively what they're doing is clearing the error and also navigating home. So if you look within the console, then you probably will see, like, let me just open that, where the error is being created. So we want to also destroy them as well when that happens. So we'll just close this out for now. You can look into that some more. Again, these should be available within error handling. You can look into it some more. So that really covers pretty much all of it. So it will have occur for all of these pages. So we have it. We'll be able to clear those out. And you can go ahead and customize this to whatever liking that you have. That's really up to you. But that really covers everything that I wanted to touch on as it relates to handling this content error, or pushing up, giving us that app level error across our application for while we're working with the Nuxt content module with the catch-all routes. That pretty much covers everything. If you have a better way of dealing with this, you can also let me know in the comments. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.